Hello, this is Crystal Racing here after what was a bomb-storming British Grand Prix, and I'll get down to the driver rankings. Your race winner, Lewis Hamilton, 9 out of 10. Controversial first lap incident, I've got to say, and I have to put the blame on Hamilton because Verstappen was clearly in front of Lewis, and having seen, and of course the FIA had to act accordingly, according to how they've handed out penalties over the past 2-3 years, and Hamilton was in the wrong because Verstappen was clearly in front. Hamilton had a clear view of Verstappen. Yeah, Hamilton was up down the inside, but the fact of the matter is Hamilton was the one who could clearly see where Verstappen's rear wheels were going to end up landing. And the fact of the matter is, it was a pretty fair penalty, the 10-second penalty. I mean, arguably it should have been a stop-go penalty because, of course, I think Kimi got stop-go about 3 years ago. I can't remember, but for doing the same incident again at turn 2, I beg your pardon, back in 2018 when Kimi hit Hamilton. And the fact of the matter is, the FIA have acted consistently, so there's no real debate, but nonetheless, Hamilton can consider himself a lucky man that he was the one who got away with minimal damage and Verstappen's race was ended in the barriers. 51G impact, by the way. Charles Leclerc, 9.5 out of 10. My driver of the day was beat Bottas off the line yet again, and then blitzed into the lead once, of course, Max and Lewis collided. And, did incredibly well to deal with the engine issues mid-race. And he was, he made a mistake at Cops, allowing Hamilton to overtake him. It's 9.5 out of 10 for me. And Leclerc can be very pleased with himself. I know he's hurting because the race was there, but today was by far his best race of the season. Third place, Valtteri Bottas, 8 out of 10. I mean, when the team order came in to move over, he obliged, and that's all she wrote. Fourth place, Lando Norris, 9 out of 10. Arguably the driver of the season yet again. Okay, yes, he didn't stay ahead of the Mercedes for that long today, but solid race, and had Ricciardo well beaten yet again. Like, if you told me Norris would be thrashing Ricciardo, I would have laughed in your face, but this is exactly what's happening. Fifth place is, of course, his McLaren teammate, Daniel Ricciardo, 7 out of 10. Started 7th or 8th or 6th, I think, I beg your pardon, due to, of course, doing well in the sprint race, but yet again he got beat by Norris. And whilst, of course, the gap has closed slightly, Ricciardo is a bit closer to Lando Norris, it's still not good enough, so it's only 7 out of 10 for me. 6th place, Carlos Sainz, 7 out of 10 again. Was closing in on Ricciardo, but couldn't find a way past, and, having obviously been forced to start 11th due to 11th, 10th, 11th, can't remember, due to, of course, colliding with Russell in a sprint race. He did pretty well to get back up to 6th, so, but of course, Carlos Sainz has got to, avoid getting involved in sort of collisions, really, like he did yesterday and Saturday's sprint race. 7th place, Fernando Alonso, 9 out of 10. Yet another outstanding performance by the 2 times world champion. Just a I know the Alpine is very slow, but the fact of the matter is, he did a great job holding off so many cars during the race, and, he deserves full credit. He didn't put a wheel wrong. Okay, I know yesterday he was accused of weaving, but he was well within the limits, and frankly, I don't find anything particularly... I don't find what he did yesterday particularly controversial or wrong, and today he was as clean as a whistle. 8th place, Lance Stroll, 8 out of 10. Once again, Lance Stroll is continuing a strong form from last season, and I could not be happier for him. I am very pleased to see Lance Stroll finally get himself together. It's good to see. It's good to see his dad's money being well invested. 9th place, Esteban Ocon, 7 out of 10. The average qualifying, average sprint race and a fairly okay main race performance. I didn't see an awful lot, but of course with all those incidents involving Gasly, Kimi, Perez and all the rest of them, well, Ocon did a good job in recovering, but it was by no means a particularly impressive performance whatsoever. 10th place, Yuki Tsunoda, 7 out of 10. Just like Ocon, mediocre qualifying, mediocre sprint race, but, you know, he profited from the failures of others, did not get involved in any stupid incidents, and a point is his reward. Well done, Yuki. 11th place, Pierre Gasly, 6 out of 10. Unlucky with the puncher, but I've got to say today his race pace in the main race and of course performance in the sprint race yesterday was very disappointing. Really underwhelming, I've got to say. I mean, yeah, I know he's obviously still faster than Tsunoda, but the puncher was unlucky. But apart from that, I mean, he spent a lot, you know, I'm giving him a 6 out of 10 because he breached track limits so many times today in his vain attempts to overcame in trying to overtake Kimi, but he couldn't do it. Really not good enough, Pierre, I've got to say. And, you know, the puncher was not your fault, but, I mean, to breach track limits that many times whilst trying to overtake Kimi is actually quite poor. Really poor. I'm not impressed, sorry. 12th place, George Russell, 7 out of 10. Started 12th because he was given a 3-place grid penalty for colliding with Carlos Sainz in the sprint race. Had a good start, mostly due to the fracas on lap 1, but of course as the race progressed he fell back and he never really looked like a serious contender for points really, and that's all she wrote. 13th place, Giovinazzi, 6 out of 10. Disappointing sprint race, average main race performance. I know people will say, oh, Giovinazzi's doing well, but of course we all should know why the hell he finished ahead of Kimi, and that's because Kimi collided with Perez. 14th place, Latifi, 6 out of 10. I couldn't remember anything he did during the race, sorry. 15th place, Kimi Raikkonen, 7 out of 10. Now, of course, if it wasn't for the collision with Perez, I'd probably give him at least an 8 or maybe even a 9 out of 10, but it's got to be a 7 out of 10. Kimi once again drove the wheels off that Alfa Romeo, although he was arguably a bit too aggressive and a bit too stubborn to concede position. I mean, he probably lost at least about 2 seconds when he held up Perez during the second stint of the race, but of course when Perez made a second pit stop and called with Kimi again, Kimi was just a little bit too stubborn in trying to hold him back. I know Kimi is now getting frustrated by the lack of points Alfa Romeo have scored, but I've got to say Kimi was just a bit too stubborn today. I mean, in the end, he was, you know, he collided with Perez, he ended up spinning, but of course he recovered and ended up finishing 15th. But in the end, though, there was no point opportunity at all, but it does make you wonder why Kimi did something like that when he wasn't even fighting for a points position. Really odd, but I know Kimi is getting very angry now. 16th place, Sergio Perez. This score does not take into consideration what happened between him and Kimi, but his race pace today was absolutely rubbish. It's a 3 out of 10 for me for Sergio Perez because this is not good enough from a Red Bull second driver. Yes, I know Red Bull are focused solely on Max Verstappen, but Perez is supposed to be there trying to at least back Verstappen up. Now, of course, Verstappen was taken out of the race on lap 1. So really, Perez's job was to at least try and finish up in 6th or 7th place and just try and score points for the Constructors' Championship today. But today, Red Bull scored 0 and Mercedes scored 41 points. And looking at the Constructors' table, it's not going to be good news. It probably, well, Red Bull are still lead the Constructors' Championship, but by only 4 points. And Max Verstappen only leads Lewis Hamilton by 8 points. It's really not good news for Sergio Perez. I mean, yeah, his team are still leading the Constructors, but they cannot be happy by his lack of pace today. And of course, that spin in a sprint race, unacceptable. 17th place, Nikita Mazepin, 6 out of 10. He beat Mick Schumacher. I can't believe it. I don't know what happened to Horse, but Nikita Mazepin did well today. Mick Schumacher, I'll give him 5 out of 10, but, whatever happened to Mick and Nikita, I don't know. Don't ask me. And now it's time to go on to the retirees. Sebastian Vettel gets 2 out of 10, and my reject of the day. What was he doing? Getting on the gas that early coming out of Luffield, or whatever, or club, or whatever corner it was. Once again, Speedy Seb is back. Embarrassing. 2 out of 10. And then after that, he overtook both Haas, but couldn't overtake Latifi, and then was forced to retire on lap 41 with a technical issue. But from what I saw, his pace just wasn't good enough. I don't know whether the technical issue slowed him down during the race, but to be spinning like that, just to spin like that so early on, just so poor. Just so poor and costly. And, of course, Max Verstappen, I'll give him 9 out of 10 because, of course, if it wasn't for him being taken out by Lewis Hamilton, I'm almost certain he would have been involved with a race win today. So, if you enjoyed this video, please do the usual stuff here at Crystal Racing, and I'll see you again next time.